black, yellow, black, yellow, black, yellow, black, yellow, black, yellow, black. Ooh, black and yellow. Yeah, let's shake it up a little.
Alright, listen, I don't watch that many movies, and honestly I really should, because, well, I guess that's what I do now. But hey, I don't need to be a crazy film nerd to see that 2026 is absolutely killing it in terms of cinematic experiences. I mean, just now with Spider-Man Brand New Day, just casually being the biggest movie to ever be, I mean, almost $2 billion is wild, dude. And with two back-to-back crazy good horror movies in spring also doing insanely well, with one of them being directed by an actual 20-year-old, which is, well, good, because, I'm pretty young too. Anyway, in today's video, I just wanted to go over the films that absolutely dominated this year so far, what we could take away from each of them, and what we could be expecting for the rest of this amazing year. Before we start, I just want to say I predicted this. A year ago, I made a video, back in the very beginning of 2025, that 2026 was actually going to be insane for movies. While Shrek 5 never came out like I thought it would, I did cover Spider-Man 4, Odyssey, and some other ones. They ended up doing very well. Very well. So maybe, just maybe, I led to all the successes this year. And don't thank me, Mr. Nolan. Thank yourself. Alright, so the first big movie to hit theaters this year was undoubtedly Project Hail Mary, which came out in March. While I know I'm starting off well into spring, trust me, the quantity and quality of movies gets exponentially higher as we get into summer. So just trust, okay? Project Hail Mary is an adaptation of Andy Weir's novel by the same name. And listen, I honestly don't read as much as I should, but Project Hail Mary is one of the books I both read all the way through and liked in the past. And let me tell you, it far exceeded my expectations. So for those who don't know, Project Hail Mary, starring Ryan Gosling, is about a guy who wakes up on a spaceship with absolutely no idea who he is, where he is, or why he's there. So he has to slowly piece together what happened to him, while also trying to save humanity from, well, basically the end of the world. And that's about all I'm going to say, because if you haven't seen it yet, I genuinely think it's better if you just go in as blind as possible, which makes the whole thing way more fun. Or, I don't know, maybe just read the book first like I did. Now, I know this isn't technically an original film, as it is in fact an adaptation of a book. However, it's not a sequel, it's not a reboot, and overall it's a fantastic film, full of adventure, drama, suspense, and a good amount of comedy. I saw this one twice in theaters, and it's already one of the highlights of my year. And we're just getting started. Okay, so I did want to keep this list of movies exclusively to films that I actually saw, but unfortunately I never really got the chance to see this one. However, the reason it's still in the video is I wanted to highlight the fact that despite most of the major successes of this year not being sequels or video game adaptations, this film easily surpassed $1 billion, so you know, that's a lot of money. From what I heard, this movie introduces plenty of other Mario and Nintendo characters for nostalgia bait purposes and open the doors for more spin-offs, I guess, and maybe sequels. And listen, there's nothing harmful about a Mario movie, and I'm sure it was fun, but since I never got the chance to see it, I don't want to linger on this one for too long. So, Nintendo and Illumination struck gold here, and there really isn't much I could say. Okay, so back to films I actually did see. Let's talk about Obsession. Now, this is one of my favorites this year, and I know recency bias does exist, but it may be one of my favorite horror movies ever as well. Obsession was directed by Curry Barker, a 26-year-old filmmaker who actually came out of YouTube making video sketches on the channel That's a Bad Idea. Obsession was actually made on only a $750,000 budget and grossed just over $500 million, which is absolutely wild for an indie horror feature. Anyway, Obsession is about a guy named Bear who has been crushing on his coworker Nikki. After completely fumbling his chance to tell her how he feels, he ends up getting his hands on this weird little novelty charm thing called the One Wish Willow, which basically gives you one wish. And obviously, being the completely rational and emotionally stable man that he is, not really, of course, Bear wishes for Nikki to love him
More than anyone in the entire world.
And at first it seems like the wish worked exactly how he wanted it to. Pretty quickly that love starts getting a little too intense. When Nikki's affection turns quickly into a terrifying obsession, Bear realizes that getting exactly what you want might not be a good thing. So yeah, Obsession was absolutely insane on the first viewing, and I've actually watched it a few times since then, as well as consumed various fan content online related to it, such as video essays and theories and such, you know. I really can't wait to see what Curry Barker does with his next film, Anything But Ghosts. And that's all I really have to say about this wonderful, crazy, creepy film. Watch Obsession, guys. It's actually really good. Okay, so our next film is yet another indie horror film, Backrooms. For those who don't know what the Backrooms are, what are we doing, man? Come on. I'm joking. The Backrooms as a concept started in 2019 on 4chan, when an anonymous user paired a creepy photo of a yellow empty interior with a short horror description. I don't know if I'm gonna put it on, the horror description here, but I might in post. That's just something editing me will have to figure out. Hi, editing me. Alright, what am I doing, bro? This is a horrible bit! The idea quickly evolved as people added levels, entities, lore, and their own interpretations. It quickly became a huge collaborative internet mythology, inspiring fan art, games, video games, wikis, and especially Kane Parsons' found footage YouTube series. And bro, if you haven't watched the original Kane Parsons YouTube series, you have to right now. It's really that good. It's peak. You gotta watch it, bro. Anyway, the movie that came out in May this year actually exists in the same world as the web series. And since I was such a big fan of the original series on YouTube, this film quickly became the one I was most anticipating this year. The basic premise of the YouTube series is that each video is like a different archive video from the company called Async, as they investigate the nature of this mysterious dimension, which they call the Complex, but of course we all know it as the Backrooms. The movie, however, which does have references to the videos and the Async stuff, follows a civilian instead of like a normal scientist or a researcher, like this series normally does. The movie follows Clark, a furniture store owner who discovers a strange opening underneath his showroom that leads to, well, the Backrooms. And naturally, instead of immediately going, yeah, that's probably a place I probably shouldn't go, he ends up getting lost in the endless maze of yellow rooms. After Clark disappears, his therapist starts trying to figure out what happened to him, eventually becoming involved with the Backrooms herself. Oh yeah, there's also this guy. Anyway, what made this movie very special is that it was directed by the same person who created the web series, 20-year-old Kane Parsons, or better known online as Kane Pixels. Besides the fact that he's the youngest individual to ever direct an A24 feature, this is also the first feature he's ever directed, which is absolutely wild given the fact that it made just under $400 million. But not only did the movie make so much money, it was also really good. The movie explored complex psychological themes, and the characters were a recently divorced alcoholic furniture store employee and his therapist, traumatized from her childhood with an abusive mother. Both are perfect to show the themes of this movie. If you haven't watched it already, I strongly recommend it, and I honestly can't wait to see what Kane does next on YouTube and in Hollywood. Okay, so after the huge release of Toy Story 5, which I never really got the chance to see, Supergirl, which I, didn't go so well, Minions and Monsters, and whatever this was, we got everyone's most anticipated movie of the year, The Odyssey. The Odyssey is not a major franchise movie, it's not based on a video game, it's not a remake, well, kinda. It's a retelling of a 2,500-year-old Greek epic made by the director of Dark Knight, Oppenheimer, and Interstellar. Last year, when I decided to put this movie in S tier in the movies I was most excited for this year, I was really onto something. Plus, I think Nolan knew what kind of movie he had when tickets went on a sale an entire year before the movie came out. So what is this movie about, you might be asking? What, you really don't know? This story's existed longer than my entire audience combined. Well, which really isn't saying much because, subscribe! Okay, so if you really don't know what the original story is, that's okay. Nolan's version mostly stays true to the original poem thematically, and keeps some of the best bits. While there are things that he did leave out, I honestly never read the original, so frankly, I don't think I'm an expert here. But to summarize the movie, it's about Odysseus, played by Matt Damon, trying to make it back home to Ithaca after the Trojan War, which should be a relatively simple journey, turns into a year-long nightmare involving shipwrecks, strange islands, mythical creatures, and basically every possible thing that could go wrong on a boat. Meanwhile, back in Ithaca, his wife Penelope, played by Anne Hathaway, and his son Telemachus, played by Tom Holland, are waiting for him with absolutely no idea if he's ever going to come back. The one thing that most people notice about this film on first glance is just the sheer amount of celebrities that are in this film. And in my opinion, they all do a great job portraying the massive amount of characters in this film, But that's just my opinion, you know, like celebrities, you know. Besides the celebrities, Christopher Nolan's work, and the fact that it's an adaptation of The Odyssey, another reason this film did so well is because the entire movie was shot on IMAX cameras. And before you ask, I actually did not get to see this in IMAX, but I did get to see it in 70mm, so that was pretty cool. So yeah, this film is freaking epic in every way, and they made sure this film did well. Oh, and it also casually made $1.1 billion, so there's that too, I guess. As if Tom Holland couldn't be in another billion-dollar movie, Spider-Man Brand New Day has just become one of the most highest-grossing movies ever, and the highest-grossing movie of 2026, and it hasn't even been out for that long. Well, for most of this video, I was showing examples of how mostly original, non-franchise, and non-sequel films were able to dominate and make this year very special. There's also room for Spider-Man film. I mean, come on. Spider-Man Brand New Day is the fourth film in Tom Holland's Spider-Man era / MCU. The major reason this film did so well is simply because the previous film, No Way Home, sorta left us on a little bit of a cliffhanger. At the end of the movie, every single person forgot who Peter Parker is, and left Peter completely alone. We were also super excited to see what was next, since the whole forgetting thing kinda seemed like it would serve as a soft reboot for the character. And with a new director, Destin Daniel Cretton, who previously directed Shang-Chi in the MCU, signing on for probably a whole new trilogy. It really seems like we're in a brand new, more grounded era for Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and I'm here for it. Well, I don't want to go too in-depth about the movie because it just came out. I will say one of my favorite things about this movie, compared to the other MCU movies, is that it made the MCU's New York feel really lived in for our heroes. We have the Hulk making an appearance, as well as the new Black Widow, played by Florence Pugh, who's returning for Doomsday as well. And of course, the Punisher, who was just fantastic in this, really funny, which is, I know, different for his character, but yeah, that was great. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. We also have Sadie Sink playing, spoilers, Jean Grey, introducing the X-Men officially in the MCU. With all these factors in mind, it's easy to see why a film like this would be so well liked and successful. But that's not the only reason. This movie also looks very good compared to the other Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, and in my opinion, the writing worked a lot better for me in this. And obviously there are still crazy product placements littered about, some cringy lines of dialogue, and maybe some villains who maybe didn't get enough screen time. But it wouldn't be crazy to say that this might be the best Spider-Man movie ever. Before we move on, can I just say that 2026 is not just a crazy year for cinema, but also for the MCU as a whole. I mean, we got Wonder Man, Daredevil Season 2, Spider-Man Brand New Day, Vision Quest coming later this fall, and of course, the big one, Doomsday! By the way, I might make a video on Doomsday, if you guys are hyped for that or not. I certainly am. So yeah. So what did we learn about this little summary of the movies this year so far? Well, first of all, I think we comfortably answered the question of, is cinema dead? And of course, it's not. I think this summer was obviously the peak of this year, but we still have plenty of movies yet to be released. Besides that, for movies like Obsession and Backrooms, it's pretty clear to see that people are willing to see stories from younger directors. And these ideas are also making them a lot of money and generating a fan base for people who genuinely want to see this stuff. And for the big movies like Odyssey and Spider-Man, I think it's easy to see that man-made movies are not going anywhere soon. And I can't wait to see what comes next. Alright, so that's all for this little video commentary, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this, since I think this is a new era for the channel, and I expect to make more videos like this in the future. Oh, and if there's any movies that came out this year that you liked and I missed, feel free to just let me know in the comments, and I'll be sure to mention them in a future video. If you're a fan, of course, subscribe, like the video, and join my brand new Discord, because the first 100 members get a special, like, OG member role, so you could flex on the other newcomers. Newcomers! Jesus Christ. There's about 80 or so slots left, so join now. And if you don't end up getting the role you like, you'll at least have a pretty chill community for people you could talk to or something like that. I don't know. Well, that's enough for me, and I'll see you all next time. I don't really know what my outro is going to be. This is my first time. Bye.